What if your body is not broken? What if you're really not lazy? What if there's no real fatigue or brain fog or bloating or cravings, poor sleep, stress, just a whole host of issues that we're experiencing? What if your body is simply out of rhythm? That's what I want to talk to you about today. Everybody is chasing hacks, a hack for energy, a hack for sleep, a hack for weight loss, a hack for gut health, a hack for hormones, you name it. There's all kinds of hacks to fix all kinds of issues. But the body was not designed to run on hacks. The body was designed to run on rhythm. There's a rhythm to sleep, there's a rhythm to digestion, a rhythm to hormones, a rhythm to elimination, a rhythm to healing, a rhythm to the nervous system. And when we start violating those rhythms day after day, the body starts speaking to us. It speaks to us to the long list of all kinds of syndromes and issues that we experience. So it speaks to us through fatigue, speaks to us through bloating, through cravings, you name it, anxiety, poor sleep, inflammation, you just name it, a whole host of things. But instead of listening to those messages, we try to silence the symptoms. Today, let's talk about why so many people are not really struggling because their body failed them. They're struggling because their rhythm has been broken. And when you restore that rhythm, when you give the body a chance to restore health, the human body is not random. It is organized. It is intelligent. It is fearfully and wonderfully made. Your heart has a rhythm. Your breathing has a rhythm. Your sleep has a rhythm. Your digestion has a rhythm. Your cells operate with rhythm. Everything, it operates with rhythm. Day and night, summer and winter, planting and harvest, activity and rest. Everything is rhythm. So let's talk about that a little bit more. The problem is, in modern life, people are pulled out of their natural rhythm. We wake up and what do? We immediately are looking at artificial light. We're looking at our laptops. We're not out there greeting the light of day. We skip the water and we go straight to the coffee. We eat in a hurry. We sit all day. We snack all day. We're snacking at night. We stare at screens until bedtime. We sleep at inconsistent hours. We just live a very stressed, rushed, overstimulated, out of rhythm life. And then we wonder, why is the body confused and why is it complaining? But the body is not confused because it's weak. The body is confused because we're giving it too many mixed signals. You tell your body in the morning that by drinking coffee and rushing, then you tell your body it's still daytime during the night hours. And when we're staring at those bright screens, you tell your digestive system to work when you're stressed. You tell your nervous system to relax while you're trying to work through the news of the day and all kinds of issues. You tell your body to heal, but you never give it a calm environment. You never put it in the environment for it to heal itself. And that problem is rhythm. We're way, way out of rhythm. And there's some things that we can do to fix that rhythm. Now, what is one of the biggest things that demonstrate that we're out of rhythm? Yep, it's fatigue. We're tired and we don't know why. And not all fatigue is the same, really. Some fatigue comes from poor sleep. Some comes from poor nutrition. Some comes from dehydration. Some comes from emotional stress. Some of it actually comes from poor elimination. But many people are tired because the body never knows when to be on and when to be off. They're tired in the morning, wired at night, hungry when they should be resting, stressed when they should be digesting, awake when they should be sleeping, and mentally tired when they actually need to be focused. All of those are rhythm problems. One of the first things that we do in the International Institute of Original Medicine is we look at the whole person, not just those symptoms that we just talked about. We ask, how are you sleeping? How are you eating? How are you eliminating? How are you hydrating? How are you moving? How are you handling stress? Because fatigue is not always solved by more caffeine. Sometimes fatigue is solved by restoring order. It could be resolved just by drinking a little bit more water when we wake up the first thing in the morning. Get a little bit of sunlight first thing in the morning. Set that circadian rhythm. Get that serotonin going first thing in the morning so that you have the melatonin that you need at night. Move your body. Get it into a natural rhythm of life. Stop eating late. There's 3 circadian rhythms. There's a time for eliminating, there's a time for eating, and there's time for assimilating. And when you interchange those things, you create a lot of chaos in your body. So, when you go to bed to rest with intentionality, with purpose. The body heals better when it can predict what is coming, when you have this natural rhythmic flow of life. So let's talk about a couple of things that we can really start to address. Let's talk about, for example, digestion. Digestion is not just about food. It's about timing. It's about stress. It's about eating in a calm environment, chewing thoroughly, making sure you're hydrated properly, and giving your body the ability to be able to digest and assimilate what you need and eliminate those things you don't need. Many people are what I call grazers. They're eating all day long. A bite here, a bite there. They're snacking here, there, and then a little bit of coffee here, a sugar rush there, late meals at night. All of those things throwing the body completely out of rhythm. And you do that day in and day out, and you're wondering, why am I experiencing this, that, or the other thing? The digestive system needs a break. The digestive system was not designed to be running all day long. And then you blame the body when you got gas and bloating and a whole host of digestive issues. It needs to be put back in rhythm. It needs time to receive, times to break down the food, time to absorb the food. And you can't be doing all of that all at once. It needs time to eliminate. And one of the biggest mistakes people make while eating is eating while stressed. That's the worst thing that you can do. It shuts down the digestive system and it's just a prescription for disaster. When you're in any kind of stress, emotional, physical stress, the body goes into survival mode. And in a survival mode, if a saber-toothed tiger is chasing you, you're not interested in digesting. You want to be moving real quick. So the digestive system is a lower priority. It shuts down. So you can see how you're really going against yourself when you're eating in a stressful situation. So you can eat even a healthy meal and still feel bloated if you eat in a stressed state. So before you eat, simple thing, just pause, breathe. Praying helps. Slow down, chew your food thoroughly, give your body the signal that it's a safe time to eat and digest. There's no saber-toothed tigers around. You want to be relaxed, you want to be really present. So sometimes the most powerful digestive support is not another supplement, it's peace. The supplement you need is more peace in your life. This is where many people miss it, and they think that natural health is just about eating food, eating good, natural, whole, plant-based, organic, all of that. Food is important, but the nervous system matters too. And if your nervous system is constantly on edge, the body can struggle to provide itself the nutrients it needs from the food to heal yourself. Stress affects your sleep, it affects your digestion, it affects your cravings. And a lot of us, well, what do? When we're stressed out, that's when we reach for the potato chips or the popcorn or that sugar rush or whatever that favorite food is. And so that stress is affecting even our mood eventually, our hormones. And what happens when the body is in that stressful environment? It's inflammation. Now, there's a whole lot of disease names that end in itis, itis, all of those inflammatory issues from poor digestion and the stress that's affecting the entire immune system. So that is why so many people can be eating better, but not feeling better. Their body is still living in that fight or flight alarm mode. So here at IIOM, we believe that the body must be understood as a whole. You cannot separate the mind, the body, and the spirit, the gut, the blood, the nerves, and the habits. You need to proceed with these things in a very integrated, comprehensive, and thoughtful way. They all work together. If one system is crying out, it actually affects the entire body, affects other systems. And based on your genetic predispositions, those are the kind of diseases that become manifested. So you fix that, and then whatever the name is, it adjusts itself. So yes, eat better, but also breathe better, sleep better, think better, pray better, pray more. If you stop praying, slow down, walk outside, get quiet, stop living like your body is a machine and start treating it like it's something living, intelligent, and intelligently designed. So let's look at another rhythm that people are missing out on or they tend to ignore, and that's elimination. Okay, food is going in every day, and what you don't assimilate, what you can't use, you need to be eliminating that on a regular basis. Some people think that they have one elimination a day or every other day, they're fine. You should actually have an elimination for every meal you have. So if you eat 2 meals a day, you should have 2 eliminations a day. If you eat 3 meals a day, you should have 3 eliminations a day. And if not, the body can get backed up very quickly. And you can see day in and day out, it'll have a major impact on congesting the system and lead to things like fogginess, bloatedness, being irritated, being sluggish. The digestive system takes up more energy than any of the other 12 systems of the body, including the nervous system, the circulation system, etc. It takes a lot of energy. The body needs that energy. It needs flow. It needs blood flow. It needs lymph flow. It needs bowel flow. It needs all of these things to operate, function properly. So you need that breath flow, that blood flow, even sweat flow. The skin is one of the largest organs of elimination. So you're eliminating actually when you work out with that sweating. So all of that kind of combines together. And when the flow is blocked, the symptoms begin to show up. This is why movement matters also. This is why water matters. This is why fiber from whole food matters. So that you don't get blocked up. You need that movement going on all the time. We're rhythmic, moving in and out. So that's why deep breathing helps, sweating helps, contrast showers will help, lymphatic brushing, the lymphatic brush massage. All of these help to keep things moving. And but if we're sitting all day, not drinking enough water, eating too much processed foods, holding the stress in the body, and ignore the need to eliminate, we're really working against the design of the body. Health improves when the ebb and flow is improved. So here's the truth. Most people do not need more complicated health plans. They need a more consistent foundation. They don't need to have the esophagus of a kung fu warrior swallowing 25 supplements a day. What they need maybe is just a little bit more water a day. They don't need extreme detoxes before they have their daily elimination. They don't need expensive biohacking before they go to sleep. And that's the reason IIOM exists. IIOM, the OM stands for Original Medicine. Original Medicine wants to focus on our original design. It is the most powerful system known to man for preventing and reversing all chronic degenerative diseases. So what we do is we teach people to understand health from an original standpoint, our original design, how it's intended, and to get back into harmony with that. We teach you to work with your body, not against it. and then try to fix it with a whole bunch of supplements, either whole food supplements, pharmaceuticals, or the rest of that. We're not about chasing symptoms. We're always chasing. But when we understand how the body is designed and we begin to ask better questions, not just what can I take, but what is my body trying to tell me? And you listen, rather than saying, how do I silence the symptom, but how do I get it back in rhythm and restoration? Now you're beginning to learn and be in harmony with the optimum design so that you can actually add 15 to 30 productive years to your life, being happy, healthy, and holy. So let's look at a 5-rhythm reset. That's real practical. It's very easy. And you can start anywhere you want with them. But let's go through 5 key ones that you can start incorporating, which will help to promote that rhythm. And the first one, let's start when you get up first thing in the morning, that morning rhythm. When you wake up, do not start with a cup of coffee. Start with water. Even if you drink 3 to 4 ounces of water, preferably warm. You don't want cold water because you don't want to, your body is 98 degrees. You want a nice little warm glass of water to start that flow in the body, that stagnation. Get that first water. You can have your coffee afterwards, but start with the water, and then also start with a prayer, just as the acknowledgement that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank our Creator, and ask for His guidance, direction, and support. He can do everything. And when we align ourselves to Him, we can do everything He can do. Start with the light that He gave us. And, step outside if you can. At least open a window or open a door. Greet the day. Get some fresh air into your lungs. Even if it's a few breaths. You don't need to walk 5 power miles. Even if it's 20, 30 seconds to the mailbox and back. Of course, if you have the time, 10 to 15 minutes, that would be great for your body. And it's a nice way to introduce yourself to the day in the morning and get that to be right in harmony with not only the circadian rhythms of nature, but you being in harmony with those rhythms. So that's number 1. Greet the morning as best you can. Rhythm number 2, what I want to focus here is your eating rhythm. And the key here is to eat real food. Whole foods, plant-based, but even meat and dairy are whole foods. Slow down, chew, do not eat every meal in a rush. As I said, do most of your shopping, do 80% around the edges. That's where the whole foods are. And that way the only thing you need to go into the aisles for, the more you're in the produce section of foods that produce health, the less you need from the aisles. And the only thing you'll need is toilet paper, because you'll have very good bowel motility. So give your digestive system a very calm, thoughtful, and practical environment, the food that is designed to work best on, which is plant-based whole foods. Okay, let's look at number 3. And that's your movement rhythm. Remember, we said everything is ebb and flow, moving the body, arms and legs. So move every day. You can walk, you can stretch, you can breathe. You can even do it in your bed. Even if you just pull your knees up to your chest and do some slight movement before you get out of the bed. Anything to get that lymph system flowing, get that blood flowing. You don't have to punish your body. You don't have to beat it up. You don't need 2 hours. You just need to activate it based on your requirements, based on your capacity, and just to get that movement. Movement is one of those laws of health. That was number 3. Let's look at the 4th one. The 4th one is what we talked about earlier, that elimination rhythm. We said now, of course, if you're doing the food right and the water right, then the elimination is going to be a lot easier. You're supporting it. That's your body's natural cleansing. And if you let it build up and you get congested, that's where you start developing all of this backup, which is the perfect environment for the proliferation of bacteria, viruses. They love eating waste and junk. That's their job. So you want to support that rhythm of elimination. And one way you do it is the water that we talked about. Drink the water. Eat the fiber-rich foods, like we said. Moving your body. All of these things support that rhythm. So you can see how all of these things, they kind of synergistically support each other. So don't ignore those sluggish bowels. That's important. You don't want to ignore them, and you don't want to use any kind of hacking. You don't need all of these elimination hacks. Just water, diet, movement. Those are the first. And then if you need a little assist in the beginning, a little bit of aloe vera juice, a little bit of ginger, a little bit of mint tea, things of those things, ginger tea, yes. But you'll find that once you start getting that rhythm again, you're not even dependent on those kinds of things as well. So let's look at the last thing, the fifth one. And that is, we started in the morning and we're going to end it with the evening rhythm. We've gone through the day, we're eating right, we're getting a little bit of exercise, and we're making sure we have our water. Now, this is really important. All of the recovery that you get only happens during the rest period. So that evening rhythm is very important. You want to protect that. You want to dim the lights before you go to sleep. You want to, get off the phone, get off the laptop, get off any of those bright lights. Some people actually use those special glasses that if you must look at TV late at night, cut down on that blue light. So there's a number of things you can do, but just look at your practical situation and try to make sure that you're working intentionally to work in harmony with what your body is looking for. As the daylight is going down, so should the light that your eyes are experiencing, they should be going down also. So you don't want to be eating late. That third digestive circadian rhythm is the rhythm of assimilation. So you don't want to be eating any heavy meals after 6 p.m. because then you're starting to get into that resting rhythm. And that resting rhythm, that assimilation rhythm, is a time when you're going to take those nutrients from the food. So when you're eating, you're not getting any benefit from it at all. It's after that the body has to break it down to its lowest components and restructure it. So if you want to build a healthy you, make sure you're getting enough of the rest to have the best opportunity to be the best, build the best you that you can be. So, you can pray then. You can do some light reading, do some gentle breathing, let your nervous system calm down, and don't let the stress of the day drag into your sleep. Let it go. You can't do anything while you're sleeping anyway. So let it go, and you can pick it up after a good night's sleep. So your body's always communicating. Question is, have you learned that language? Are you interested in learning that language? We gave you some clues for how to decipher and to read that. So if your body might be saying, restore some rest. If you're bloated, your body might say, restore your digestion. If you have cravings, you say, eat more nourishing foods. Stress might be saying, restore your peace. Or sleep might be saying, restore some rhythm. Your body is not your enemy. Symptoms are not always the enemy. Sometimes the symptoms are your best messengers. They're your best friends. They're trying to talk to you. Listen to them. And when you learn to listen, you begin to support the body the way it was designed to be supported. And so here at the National Institute of Original Medicine, our mission is to help people to understand the body from a natural, foundational, original medicine perspective. Because once you understand these principles and you apply them in an integrated and comprehensive fashion, you stop being tossed around by every new trend, by every new hack. You learn how to think. You learn how to be the master of your body rather than the slave. You learn how to observe. You learn how to support natural healing. So today, don't ask, what hack do I need? Ask, what rhythm have I lost? And start there. So, if this has kind of helped you, like the video down below, subscribe to IIOM YouTube so we continue to help you with original medicine approaches to help you with, in addition to the tiredness, the stress, the bloating, whole host of issues. Those I like to say those 800 to 8,000 different syndromes and symptoms and diseases and issues can be addressed with those eight original medicine laws of health put together in an integrated and comprehensive fashion based on your requirements and on your capacity. And then you'll be able to work with the way your body is designed. So, visit IIOM. You can see our programs, what our teachings are, and you might want to even participate in some of our communities. We have a number of complimentary communities. We have the Tuesday water cooler, the Wednesday walk, the Ask the Doctor. All these are complimentary. Look at those and see how we can help. And if you can, before we sign out, I'll just ask you to comment below and just kind of note which of those rhythms that we talked about, which one do you think you need to work on first? Is it your sleep? Is it your digestion? Is it your movement? Is it your elimination? Is it your peace? So why don't you do that so we can help us to understand what you've gotten out of this, how we can provide more support for you. And I want to thank you very much for your time and kind attention. And until I see you next time, I want to wish health, happiness, and God's richest blessings. Bye for now. God bless.